Check the mic and make sure it sound right.
Hi, I'm DKWILL, and this is DK. We'll talk about it.
And let's talk about circumstances that are occurring right now on the XRP Ripple arena that are setting up for some very volatile action coming forward here with the XRP price. We're going to start here with this patent here. We've already announced in the prior video that they set up a patent in the EU. And right at the timing of the trade agreements between the Trump administration and the European Union. And here now we see another patent, instant cross-border payments, along with the open interest of futures contracts hitting $8.8 billion. There's the volatility we're going to talk about as we go along. This newly secured patent for a trust-based instant cross-border payments eliminates the need for full network confirmation, just as the perpetual futures open interest soars to 8.8 billion. In other words, they are fully equipped to move a lot of money almost instantly in one direction or the other, because this system leverages the trusted nodes and pre-established relationships to verify and complete transactions almost instantaneously. In other words, if there's already a relationship between the end parties, there's very little counterparty risk, and they can trust that it's going to be settled without the need for a full confirmation from the chain-based payment system. And so it says this patented system allows an alternative path whereby if a transaction involves parties with a defined trust network, it can be finalized without full network validation. This is particularly beneficial for financial institutions, their target customers, Ripple's that is, or payment providers, which is the probably first ballooning industry portion of the blockchain industry, with this established trust framework. So like I said, that's very good, very interesting. It makes for the availability of money to move quickly, instantly almost. And we know that with the EU is also broadening the scope of Ripple and its cross-border payments and its instantaneous settlements. But let's talk a little bit about these futures open interest hitting $8.8 billion.
Wow.
That's a major setup for some price volatility, and I'll explain why as I go along. But here it says XRP perpetual futures open interest has skyrocketed to an impressive 8.8 billion, marking one of the highest levels in recent history. Now, open interest has a definition here, I guess I'll use theirs, is a metric that captures the total number of unsettled derivative contracts, with this surge reflecting a dramatic influx of trader activity and heightened market speculation as investors position themselves for a potential breakout. Now, the problem about the breakout is I haven't been able to find out if it's more weighted with long contracts than short contracts. I don't know the difference, but whichever way it goes is going to determine the volatility of the price. And here's what I mean. Like if we were to look over here and let's say that there's a bunch of contracts and they're short contracts. And so XRP follows this path and they consider this a test and then it takes off. That's going to force the short contracts to have to hurry up and purchase XRP because they're going to get burned if they don't. And that short squeeze will force the price up as everyone tries to settle their contracts without losing too much money. Conversely, let's say that it's a bunch of long contracts are more heavily weighted. And instead of the price going up, the price is going down. And the long contract say I get to buy it at $3.12 in a month. Or we'll say not a month, that's a pretty long time. I get to buy it at $3.12 in 4 days, right? And so instead of it going up where they can buy it at $3.12 and make the money in between, it starts going down, and that means the money they can make loses, and it may reach a point of liquidation, which could be 10 or 20% below this, 5% below this, and then they get liquidated and they lose all their money. So either way, there is some significant volatility on the horizon with $8.8 billion worth of open interest. I'm sorry I wasn't able to determine which way the open interest is leaning. Perhaps somebody else can. But based on the next article that I'm going to cover, which is this one here, It looks like it's expected to go up.
Yeah.
Because here, this article from today, actually, to 29th of July says XRP is poised for liftoff, $9 or even $24 on the horizon. And it talks about tightening consolidation could be the calm before a major breakout. And that's very plausible, and it's based upon a pretty reliable analyst on X, eGrad Crypto. And eGrad Crypto says every bullish crossover between XRP's 21 exponential moving average and 55 simple moving average has triggered massive rallies. And apparently, giving a little history, he says in March 2017, which is when it hit the all-time high of 384 or 340, take your pick, the crossover preceded a 40,000% surge, while the August 2020 signal delivered a 750% pump before peaking. So that's
And
what's
if
in
you like
the
the content I'm providing, like, subscribe, and ring the bell for notifications, and then come back for more DK Will Talk About It.
So eGrad Crypto went on to project two potential targets for XRP. That is a 1,500% rally, which is twice the 2020 surge, peaking at $9, or a more bullish 4,000% rally, just 10% of 2017's explosive run, which could send XRP to $24. He added, now in this cycle, as of October 2024, we have another promising bullish cross between 21 EMA and 55 SMA, and so far we're experiencing a 560% pump. The analyst stated that XRP's breakout to 365 was the Valhalla gate key, a critical trigger that could launch prices toward the $12 and $23 range. Man, that sounds familiar from some of my prior videos, does it not? And so I know a lot of people are looking to figure out, what's going to be the price for XRP? Where's it going to go from here? Well, the XRP market continues to coil tightly. And this analyst notes that after rejecting 350, XRP has been consolidating tightly between 3 and 320, which can be deemed a deceptive calm. And I'm going to have to agree that I believe it's a deceptive calm, because what I actually think the outcome is going to be, and please remember, this is for entertainment, enlightenment, education, even maybe your amusement. But I'll tell you what I think is going to happen. I think they're going to eat up the longs and the shorts. I think it's going to go up and go down very quickly and very sharply before they clean the table and then take off. So what's the likely outcome? Well, the likely outcome is to go down first, because by going down first, they can eat up some of the liquidation points, and the shorts won't make a whole bunch of money. But that'll make the shorts comfortable. And then it shoots up and the real squeeze happens. But we got to get rid of those longs before you give up. Take out the shorts. Because if you take out the shorts, you'll be feeding a lot of longs. That's kind of what I think they're going to do. I don't know, but I'm just giving you my thoughts. The conclusion here, he highlights that the crossovers have historically triggered explosive rallies, and that's how we're going to call up for the explosion. And then gives a repeat of the already said information. So, people want to know what the price of XRP is going to be. Well, right now, the price of XRP is $3.12. But looking not too far into the future, we can be looking at $9 and even $24 on the horizon. Right in line with some of my prior videos, and I believe one video came up with $23.21. Well, we'll see. That's all I want to talk about. This is DK Will Talk About It, and I've talked about it. So have a wonderful day.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right.